Daniel, good evening to you. You know, we reached a grim milestone that I mentioned, 4 million cases in the U.S. today. But here's what President Trump said about the pandemic earlier.
You'll also see a lot of the country has no problem whatsoever. Most of the country, actually. The country is in very good shape, other than if you look south and west, some problems. That'll all work out. And it goes away, and it goes away quickly.
What's the truth?
The country is in good shape, other than if you look south and west, is like a self-fact-checking statement. I don't have to say anything there. Beyond that, though, Don, it is, of course, obviously untrue that most of the country has no problem whatsoever. This virus is everywhere. We have 23 states with rising cases week over week. And it's not just states on the West Coast and in the South. That includes states like North Dakota, Maryland, Illinois, Indiana. Dr. Deborah Birx listed a list of cities yesterday that she was concerned about. It included places like Baltimore, like Columbus, like Pittsburgh. So the idea the president was propagating today that this is confined to certain coasts, certain spots, it's just not true.
Well, and even if it's the South and the West, I mean, there's a lot of Americans who live in the South and the West.
Those are major population centers. You can't say, oh, other than those major population centers, we're doing great. It doesn't make sense.
Let's take a listen to what the president said about his decision to cancel the Jacksonville part of the convention.
And let's just take a look where we are today on October 5th, 2021. 44,749,220. But let's go back.
They said, sir, we can make this work very easily. We have great enthusiasm, incredible enthusiasm. Even the polls say about the most enthusiasm they've seen. We can do this safely and we can do it responsibly. And I said there's nothing more important in our country than keeping our people safe.
You've noticed a pattern with the president's "sir" stories.
Right. Yeah, Don, basically any time the president tells a story in which he has an unnamed person calling him sir, something about that story is inaccurate. I don't have any proof that this particular story is inaccurate, but in my years of fact-checking this man, almost every sir story is wrong in some important way.
All right, Daniel Dale, our fact-checker. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. The U.S. now officially recording more than 4 million cases of coronavirus since the pandemic took hold. More tonight from CNN's Nick Watt.
173 people reported dead today in Florida, an all-time high for that state.
One person is getting exposed or sick, and they're infecting every single member of their household.
Today, we passed 4 million confirmed COVID-19 cases across this country. Now, getting to the first million cases took 99 days. The next million took 43 days. The next, 28. And getting from 3 million to 4 million, just 15 days.
There's no end in sight, in the sense that if there's no plan to control the virus at a national level, it's not going to go away by itself.
We're now 6 months in, and the president still thinks testing is overrated.
If instead of 50 we did 25, we'd have half the number of cases. So I personally think it's overrated, but I am totally willing to keep doing it.
Doesn't he realize that a case is a case, whether it's found by a test or not, and a known case can be contained? That's largely why we test.
Finding and tracing those very early individuals is really critical.
So says Dr. Deborah Birx, who right now is privately worried by recent upticks in test positivity rates in these 12 cities, among them Las Vegas, St. Louis, Baltimore.
I know it may look small, and you may say, well, that's only went from 5 to 5.5, and we're going to wait and see what happens. If you wait another 3 or 4, even 5 days, you'll start to see a dramatic increase in cases.
So in all of Oregon, bars and restaurants must now close at 10 p.m. Anchorage, Alaska, now reintroducing restrictions on the size of gatherings. Listen to this from a just published study. If the United States had collectively waited longer, opened more slowly, and then kept our gathering sizes small, we might have reduced case counts like Europe or Canada and experienced a relatively normal summer. Instead, baseball's opening day is today, late July, with no fans and no spitting. Last year, opening day was late March. Dr. Anthony Fauci threw out the first pitch at the Nationals Who'd have ever thought a mild-mannered 79-year-old immunologist would be on that mound? Sign of our times. Nick Watt, CNN, Los Angeles.
Nick, thank you very much. We all know by now that wearing a mask is one of the best weapons we have against the virus, but there are a lot of myths and misconceptions about masks. We'll debunk them with an expert next.
And of course, to end up, as I'll go back and talk about Texas, have a look. Here we are, October 5th, 2021. Back in July 2020, there was 4 million in all of the United States. Today, 4,099,201 cases in Texas alone. 6,126 deaths in Texas alone. As we click on the cases, after California, most cases in Texas. As we look at deaths, total deaths, Minnesota, number 1 in the United States. Texas, number 2. Ohio,